So today we're going to be going over the ultimate fragrance cologne buying guide for 2023. If you are wanting to make some cologne purchases and you want to have a concise list of some of the best ones on the market currently, this video is going to be for you. This is the type of video that can get outdated very quick. They are releasing colognes at a very, very fast rate. It seems like it has been picking up substantially, especially within the past couple years and even this year alone. So with that being said, if you're watching this video 2 or 3 months from now, it could already change. There could already be new colognes out there that are even better. If you're watching this a year or two or now, the whole video probably is going to be out of date. Maybe not necessarily, but I can imagine at this rate there are going to be so many more amazing, affordable colognes out there on the market. And the quality is going to continue to improve and get impressive. But for now, if you're wanting to make some purchases, these are some of the very best out there. I'm super impressed with all of these. I'll drop links to them down below so you can pick some of these up for yourself. That way you can actually get them at prices that are reasonable. If you try to shop for these on places like eBay and some other things, you're going to be paying close to double of what you can actually get them for. So make sure you're using the links down below. A lot of these you'll find you can get them in the $40 and under range. A lot of these are $30 and under. So make sure you're referencing those and getting these at the best prices possible. And if you find that maybe some of these are out of stock or they're a little bit hard to find, if you jump on my mailing list and texting list at the link and number down below, every time anything rare, discontinued, or hard to find comes into stock, I do send out an email and text notification for it. I also update you guys on any flash sales, 24, 48-hour sales or anything like that. So if you're wanting to save money and pick up some great fragrances, get on those lists, it's completely free to do so. All right, let's get things kicked off with Paris Corner Cherry Cola. No surprise here, this is going to be a Mancera Tonka Cola clone. And I love that Mancera. I think it is one of their best releases to date out of their entire catalog, which is very extensive. They have a ton of scents. I think that one is amazing. It's got great performance, which is what everybody wants to know about. So front and center, performs great. So does this clone as well, also does really well. But also you'll find that this is just a nice kind of bubbly, fizzy, cola smelling scent. A little bit of a gourmand aspect to it, as you could probably imagine. It has a Coca-Cola note in there and it is realistic. It's to me a little bit more of an obtainable and wearable version of something like Roja, Creation E, or Enigma. I think that one is a little bit potentially a bit more challenging, a little bit more mature, harder to pull off. I find Tonka Cola and this DNA to be just a little bit more carefree and easygoing. It's something very versatile in the cooler times of the year. And in all fairness, Tonka Cola itself isn't all that unreasonable. It pops up for right around $100 on discounters, but this one is in the $30 range. And that's still a pretty big difference. You could buy 3 of these essentially for the price of 1, and you could spread that out and pick some of these other clones up for the price of 1. So it still is a great way to save. Next up, we have Afnan 9 PM. This one's gotten a fair amount of attention, and rightfully so. It's a great clone of Ultra Male. Ultra Male is around the same price, about $100 or so on discounters. Similar deal, this is $35, maybe $40. So definitely very reasonable. Another great way to save. And Ultra Male is a scent that also goes in the direction of being kind of playful, casual, carefree, easygoing. It's very sweet. It's got this pear fruitiness and then some cinnamon, vanilla, tonka, lavender, all of that stuff. And Afnan 9 PM does a great job of kind of capturing what Ultra Male is just on a budget. When it comes down to it, you're able to save a lot of money by going that direction, especially if you plan on wearing it a lot. You can really burn through this one and not quite feel as bad when you see that level go down because you only paid, in the $30 to $40 range for it. It's got great performance, just like Ultra Male, has great quality for the price as well. The presentation is impressive, to say the least. It's a pretty thick glass. The cap does click into place, but it's a metal cap as well. This is definitely above average cologne presentation. I got to give it to them. Very well done. A lot of people probably prefer this bottle to the Ultra Male bottle as well. So there's that. This video would not be complete without a Parfums de Marly Layton cologne. Layton is by far their most popular offering. I think it's the one that really catapulted that brand into the level of success that it has now, because they seem to be doing pretty well. You hear about PDM all the time, and I like a lot of PDMs, right? However, the pricing has gotten out of control on them. It used to be where consistently you could get them below retail on discounters. Not so much anymore. It's usually brought forward in the form of sales, and then, you know, after the sale is over, they go back up to essentially retail price. So it's one of those deals where they're just getting harder to get reliably at a price that's actually reasonable, because I don't believe that the retail price is the way to go. Don't have to worry about it too much, because you can get Amber Oud Exclusive Blue, which is, in my opinion, the best and most premium Layton cologne on the market. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more expensive. It kind of goes against the trend of what's going on in this video. This is in the $50 to $60 range, okay? And so, you know, it's about double the price of some of these others, and the bottle is also a little bit smaller, so the price per mil is a bit higher. However, I'm going to give you a more affordable option if this is too much. Al Haramain Detour Noir. I've talked about it many times. It is also amazing. Between the two, this is better. It has better quality. I find that the scent itself is a little bit more accurate, and it's splitting hairs because Detour Noir is also very accurate. I find that even the performance is a little bit better on this one. It's richer, it's more full-bodied, you know, subjective, but the presentation to me is better on this one, and that's not necessarily a huge point to make, but I think if you're just comparing them side by side and you're taking price out of the equation, this is the better cologne. But if price is something that is going to be a deal breaker for you, Detour Noir, it's $30, 100 mil, very affordable, very competitive in terms of its pricing, and would be the way to go as well. But in a video where we're talking about the best of the best, this is it right here. If you want a premium Layton cologne, look no further. This stuff is amazing. Next up, we have Alhambra Yeah! Exclamation point Eau de Parfum. Pretty inconspicuous, right? YSLY EDP cologne. Now, there's a few out there. There's this one. There's also Lattafa Fakar EDP, and that one's great as well. They're very similar, if not almost identical. It just comes down to presentation. I prefer the presentation of this one here, and so that's kind of what I wanted to go with. I think this looks a lot closer to the Y EDP bottle than Fakar does, because it looks nothing like it, and that bottle has more of that clone bottle presentation look that a lot of people don't like. This one will kind of blend in with everything else and look modern and designerish and classy. And so if you're looking for Y EDP on a budget, $30 range, low 40s maybe, this is one to go for. Y EDP is $100+ on discounters pretty much all day long on all of the major discounters. And so great way to save here. Had to feature this one. This is great stuff. It is FOMO Parfums Gary's Den. If you have ever heard of Dior Homme Parfum, which I know you have, you would know that it's expensive and it's also pretty rare. Not that it's discontinued, but here in North America and Canada and things like that, not that it's discontinued per se, but just here in North America, it's hard to get. It's not consistently in stock to the point where you can't even buy it at retailers. You know, you can't even go to Dior's official website and give them retail price for it. Quite bizarre how they have that one sorted out, but that's just how it is over here. Now, it does pop up every now and then on places like Fragrance Buy, and every time it does, I send out an email, and so it really isn't that hard to get. You just have to be there at the right time to get it, and if you're on my list, you will. But even still, it's expensive, and if it's too expensive for you, no longer do you have to worry about that anymore. You can get this for about $37. It is shockingly close to Dior Homme Parfum. The quality is amazing. It's got great performance. This is what we needed right here. An affordable alternative to in my opinion, one of the best designer fragrances ever released. This is truly something special. Like, I'm so glad that this is out there now, because this gives so many more people the opportunity to get their nose on this DNA, which I do recommend it. Next up, we have Supreme LOM Extreme. This is an eau de parfum, and I got to double check. Yep, it's a Fragrance World. This is a cologne brand, Fragrance World, that's been on fire, pumping out a ton of clones. So they have this one here, which is a clone of Guerlain LOM Ideal Extreme. They also have a clone of the EDP as well, which is awesome. They're both great scents. Between the two, if I had to choose a favorite, it would be LOM Ideal Extreme, and thus Supreme LOM Extreme is in the video. This clone is amazing, and it is so accurate. They got the plum, tobacco, almond mixture down to a T. It's impressive. I mean, that is a very unique combination that's used in that Guerlain. It's not really used anywhere else, that kind of style there. Fruity, sweet, a little bit smoky, kind of powdery from the almond. You know, it's quite interesting, and they did a great job on it here. Now, the Guerlain at one point was hard to get, you know, on discounters. It was always sold out. Not so much the case anymore. It's pretty consistently in stock. The problem still lies that it's going to be out of budget for some. It's still around $100 or so. And so this one here coming in at $34 to $35. Very competitive pricing, and a great way to go if you just want to save some money and you want to have something that you can wear every day and still not be burning a hole in your wallet like you might feel like you're doing wearing the Guerlain. Next up, we have Armaf Clubdini Intense Man Limited Edition Parfum. That's quite the name, but this is kind of, to me, the cream of the crop when it comes to the Armaf Aventus clones. Okay, I think if you're looking to pick up an Armaf Aventus clone, don't buy the EDT and then buy the EDP and then buy the regular Parfum. You don't need all of those, okay? Just get the limited edition Parfum, this one, which is about $60, a little bit more expensive, but it's significantly cheaper than buying all of them and then some, because there's hundreds of clones out there, right? Just buy this, and honestly, you're set. You don't need to go all the other, clone brands and buy their Aventus clones as well. This is the one to get if you just want to have one. Now, I've got options for you if you want more as well. There's another really good one. It is L'Aventure Intense. Okay, that one's great. It's a Parfum. It's very strong as well, and it's cheaper than this. But if you just want to buy one, I would say get this Armaf here. And there's so many others out there. There's Lattafa Rave Now Black, which is kind of like fruit Ventus is how I call it. It's very syrupy pineapple and very fruit forward, but again, it's a rabbit hole, and you end up spending so much money that at that point you could end up buying an actual bottle of Aventus for the price that you've spent on all of the clones. So my advice, pick one and go for it. If I were to just pick one, this is what it would be. Let's go with Afnan Tathi Blue. Very unique DNA because it is cloning Bulgari Tiger, which I find to be pretty unique. So very grapefruit forward here. Some good amount of bergamot in here as well. They've got just kind of some general citruses, I believe, that they list off here. I don't remember the note breakdown off the top of my head, but I do like the heavy amount of patchouli and amber. And so I find this to be a super upscale, classy, and refined kind of men's citrus scent. Normally when you think of a citrus scent, you think of something that's very casual, pretty two-dimensional, just kind of flat, maybe kind of boring. Not this. It has a lot of depth and complexity behind it, and has a upscale, kind of dressed up smell behind it, to where you could wear this for any situation that you might be going to if you're trying to make a good impression, or you could dress it way down and wear it for casual wear as well. Bulgari Tiger itself is very expensive and a little bit hard to get at discounters. In fact, I think almost impossible. I think retail is kind of your only way to go. This is a $40 scent, and it is well worth it. And it's a great way to smell unique too. Definitely a good way to stand out. This next clone is kind of going after a well-loved discontinued scent. If you've been around for a little while now, you would kind of remember this one, and you would remember the devastation when everybody was finding out that it was discontinued. Well, it is Pandora Sense Milano Privé, and it is a clone of 1 million Privé. years and years later, you know, at this point, I was kind of just like, yeah, I guess we're just out of luck. You know, if you have a bottle of 1 million Privé, hold on to it, cherish it, use it sparingly. If you don't, either you just don't have it at all, or you just pay a crazy amount of money to buy it, which I don't recommend. We finally have a clone of it now, and it is really good. It uses that tobacco in there. It uses the fruits that 1 million Privé uses. You get some of that 1 million DNA in there in the base as well, but it is pretty subdued, and the tobacco and everything really comes forward. It is a beautiful scent. I only have, I believe, 1 bottle of 1 million Privé. That was a big oversight on my end. I should have bought more backups when it was kind of all going down, but I didn't. Maybe there's one more, I don't know, but I don't have a ton of it. I don't feel the need to have any more of it anymore because I have this clone. And so at this point, being how good this one is, I'm just going to wear the clone, save my real bottle for special occasions or just as a collector's piece. That's how close this is. Now, this is one that's a little bit more in demand because it's new and people are trying to get it. Don't worry, when it comes in stock, I'll send out a notification. It won't be a problem. Just stay tuned. Let's keep it moving with LFA Srat. This is an eau de parfum, and this is a clone of Acqua di Gio Profumo / Parfum. So before Acqua di Gio Parfum was out, this was a clone of Acqua di Gio Profumo because that's what it smells like. Acqua di Gio Parfum and Profumo kind of go hand in hand. They are 99% similar. The opening is actually improved on the Parfum. They use a little bit of a different note package in the base. Instead of incense, they were using like an olibanum, kind of light wispy smokiness in the Parfum, but they are still almost identical. So now you could say that this is just kind of a clone of Acqua di Gio Parfum, even though this was out first. It's all the same thing. So if Acqua di Gio, Profumo, Parfum, they're out of your budget, this one probably won't be. It's $30, $35, just like all of the rest. When you're factoring in all of these savings here, you guys are going to make out like bandits. If you were to go and buy all of the originals of what we're talking about here, you would be, you know, up into the thousands by now. So these clones are a great way to save. Okay, Fragrance World, the one and only Moonlit Night. It is a clone of Luminous Night, which I love to see because for whatever reason, Luminous Night is very hard to get. It's an exclusive edition, so it makes sense, I suppose, but it still is a bummer because I love it and I just feel like I can't talk about it because no one can buy it and it's not really fair. And so I try not to do that. But man, there have been so many lists where I'm like, you know, that'd be a good fit for Luminous Night, but you just can't buy it. Now this solves the issue. Right now, I think it's $39, $40. Sometimes it pops up for a couple bucks less, but you get the dates, you get the smokes, you get the creamy sandalwood and amber in here. It is a fantastic alternative to Luminous Night, which I haven't seen in stock in months at this point, probably 6 months or so. Definitely check this one out if you want that DNA and you simply have no other option because it is a great alternative at a low price. Next up, we have Charuto Tobacco Vanille by Pandora Sense. What a work of art for 20 bucks. I had low expectations going into this one. You know, the price point is what did it for me. You know, it's only $15 cheaper than everything else, which $15 is maybe not a lot, but it kind of is when you're talking about scents that are as low of prices as these, you know, 35 bucks down to 20 bucks. You know, that's not a lot of money, 20 bucks for something, and you just don't have the highest expectations for it. But this one exceeded them and still does to this day. This is one where I'll come down here and I'll just spray it and just smell it, not even if I'm going to wear it for the day. It is that close to Tobacco Vanille. It is impressive and it is shocking. So if you're looking for Tobacco Vanille on a budget, go for this one. Has a real nice powdery nature to it. Has a little bit of a slight boozy kick. Heavy on the tobacco, heavy on the vanilla. At this price point, there is zero reason why you shouldn't at least give it a try. The bottle is even impressive. It's a real thick glass. It's frosted. It has some weight to it. The cap is cheap, but that's fine. They make up for it with the bottle and the scent. It is impressive. You got to check it out. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. The Ultimate Clone Fragrance List for 2023. If you're wanting to pick some up, these are the current best ones out there. I'll link them down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.